So, good day. Today, in this discussion prepared by our group, is to explore the intellectual landscape of Immanuel Kant, a prominent philosopher who has greatly impacted the development of Western thinking throughout the history. The concepts put out by this individual have not only influenced the fundamental principles of philosophy but have also had a lasting impact on our ethical reasoning, specifically in relation to deontological frameworks. So this is Immanuel Kant, one of the proponent of duty ethics that in this video that we will be discussing. So first is kilalanin muna natin kung sino si Immanuel Kant. So Immanuel Kant was born in 1724 in Königsberg, Prussia, or now known as Kaliningrad, Russia, emerged as a proponent figure during the Enlightenment period. The philosophical contribution made by the individual in question encompassed a wide range of disciplines, including a metaphysics, epistemology, aesthetics, and of course ethics. Kant's distinguishing characteristics was his unwavering commitment to in comprehending the essence of human cognition and ethics. So again, Immanuel Kant is a prominent German philosopher of the 18th century. He made a significant contribution in the field of ethics through his important works, namely a groundwork of the metaphysics of morals which is published in 1785, and the critic of practical reason that is being published in 1788. In the previously mentioned books, Kant clarifies his deontological ethical framework, which is based on the categorical imperative. So this is the deontological ethics. Kant's ethical framework, often referred to as deontological ethics, it is a center of on the concept of duty and the moral law. According to Kant, morality is not contingent on the consequences or the outcomes of actions, but is derived from intrinsic sense of duty. So the previous statement concisely encapsulates of the important principle of Immanuel Kant's ethical theory, namely his treatment of moral principles within the context of deontological ethics. Immanuel Immanuel Kant argued that the determination of morality is not dependent upon the consequences or effects of our activities. Alternate Other than he proposed the notion that the ethical value of an action comes from a natural feeling of obligation. Put simply, the moral evaluation of an action is not exclusively dependent upon its outcomes, but rather it depends on the underlying intention and the extent to which it aligns with the ethical ideals. So one of the significant contributions made by Immanuel Kant to the field of deontological ethics is the concept of categorical imperative. This principle asserts that individuals should act in accordance with the principles that can be consistently desired as a uh, universal law. So in other words, if an activity cannot be applied as an universal principle for all individuals, it is considered as morally unacceptable. So this imperative, or the Uh, Categorical imperative dictates that moral actors should behave in accordance with the principles that can be universally applied without encountering any contradiction. So let's take for example, in a community, every community in our and every community has its set of rules. So let's say for example, the rule in a community, laging maging tapat. That rule follows the categorical imperative because if everyone in the community follows it, the community will create trust and faithfulness in each other that is being treasured, or in Tagalog, pinahahalagahan. So the categorical imperative is a rule of ethics that says we should only do things that everyone could do all the time without causing problems. It means following principles that make sense for everyone and wouldn't lead to any issues if everyone follows it. The concept put out by the individual in question were a challenge to both consequentialist and virtue ethics, since they presented methodical framework for making moral decisions that went beyond personal preferences and the consequences of actions. The enduring impact of Kant on ethical theory remains evident as it continues to shape ongoing debates over the essence of moral duties and the logical underpinnings of morality. So the term deontology is rooted in the Greek word means dion, or it means duty, and logos, which means science or study. Essentially, deontology is the science of study of duty. In contemporary moral philosophy, deontology represents a category of normal theories that focuses on determining which choices are morally required, forbidden, or permitted. These normative theories, specifically deontic theories, plays a crucial role in guiding and evaluating our actions based on moral principles. Deontology presents a contrasting perspective to other disciplines of moral philosophy, including virtue ethics, which focuses on evaluating the type of individual we are and ideal qualities we should aspire to possess. Virtue ethics placed significant emphasis on the growth of moral character and the development of virtues, whereas deontology focuses on the moral responsibilities and obligations that serves as guiding principles for our conduct. Another is deontology. The deontology fundamentally offers a theoretical structure of ethical decision making that centers around the notion of duty, placing emphasis on the inherent moral value of certain actions, irrespective to their outcomes. Deontological ideas, as demonstrated in the writings of Immanuel Kant, prompt us to contemplate the universality and coherence of our actions as we navigate the intricate realm of moral decision making.
Today, I'll be discussing a fascinating aspect of deontological ethics, specifically focusing on agent centered to contractualist deontological theory. These theories delve into the moral obligations and permissions of individual agents, shedding light on the complexities of personal responsibilities and ethical decision making. So, first, we're going to talk about agent centered deontological theories. So to begin, let's define agent-centered deontological theories. In the realm of deontological ethics, this series categorize moral duties based on the actions and intentions of individual agents. The classification of deontological theories often involves a distinction between agent centered and patient centered perspective. So, the agent relative reason and action. So, agent centered theories propose that each of us possesses both permission and obligation grounded in agent relative reason for action. These reasons are objectives and specific to the individual, emphasizing the personal nature of moral decision making. For example, parent may be thought to have special obligations to and obligations not shared by others. So that is in this topic in this bullet number three. So next is the role of intention in agency. At the heart of an agent-centered theories lies the concept of agency. This theories contend that morality is intensely personal, focusing on keeping one's moral standing intact. The debate within this series centers on the role of intention and actions in constituting morally relevant agencies. The intention focused versus the action focused views are some agent centered views prioritize intentions, some asserting that our intended ends and means crucially define our agency. On the other hand, these are the views that focuses on actions, stating that certain actions, such as killing innocents, are prohibited. This distinction leads us to explore the doctrine of double effect, which categorically forbids certain actions if intended, but allows for justification if only risk, cost, or predicted. So that is the doctrine of double effect. Next is the distinction in causation. So within agent-centered deontology, various distinctions in causation play a crucial role. This includes differentiating between causing and allowing, causing and enabling, and redirecting threats. This distinction impacts the permissibility of actions, adding complexity to the ethical frameworks. So some focuses on mental state focus view and is also combining intentions of actions view. Next is the common criticism. Like any ethical theories, agent-centered deontology is not without in critics. Some argue that the focus on self can be morally unattractive, potentially leading to a neglect of the greater good. Criticisms also extend to, to the distinction introduced by the doctrines such as doctrine of double effect, with some findings that them either morally unattractive or conceptually incoherent. So that is worries about avoidance. Concerns are raised about the potential manipulation and legalistic approach that can arise from casting obligation in agent-centered terms. So, what are the response and alternative approaches? So, in response to this criticism, individuals often find themselves drawn towards consequentialism or patient-centered deontology. Some critics attempt to develop alternative forms of agent-centered deontology, such as control theory of agency. However, these alternatives faces challenges related to the breadth and intuitiveness of ethical obligation. So I'm going to give you an example of this topic. So, example, visualize a classic ethical dilemma known as the trolley problem. In this scenario, a runaway trolley is headed towards five workers on the tracks. So you, as a bystander, have the option to pull the lever and divert the trolley onto a different track, saving the five workers but leading to the death of one innocent bystander. In agent-centered deontological theories, the focus is on the intentions and actions of the person making the decision. If you intentionally pull the lever to save five lives, your actions might be deemed morally permissible. However, if your intentions is to harm the one innocent bystander, even with the consequential benefit of saving the five lives, the action could be considered morally impermissible. So, in conclusion, uh, agent-centered deontological theories offered valuable insights into the personal dimensions of moral decision making. As we navigate the complexities of intention, actions, and personal relationships, it is essential to consider the broader implications and criticisms associated with the ethical framework. Next